Imagine stepping outside and seeing a galaxy 2.5 million light years away. Or witnessing the remains of a star that exploded nearly 1,000 years ago. Or looking into a cosmic nursery where new stars are being born right now. These incredible objects have one thing in common. They're all part of a list created more than 250 years ago by a man who wasn't even looking for them. His name was Charles Messier, and his catalog became one of the most famous collections in all of astronomy. This is the story of the Messier Catalog. In the 1800s, astronomy looked very different than what it does today. There was no computers, there was no digital CCD capturing devices, there was no automated tracking systems. If astronomers wanted to discover something, they had to spend countless nights manually scanning the stars. One of those astronomers was Charles Messier. Messier was obsessed with hunting comets. And I mean obsessed, and for good reason. Discovering a comet could make someone famous, and who doesn't want to be famous? Night after night, he kept searching for comets, the fuzzy objects in the night sky, and he just kept finding things that weren't what he was looking for. Which was funny because these objects look similar to kind of what he was after sometimes because they'd be a little bit fuzzy. And so he would get all excited and look at it like, ooh, maybe this is my big ticket. And then he would realize, after further inspection, it wasn't a comet after all.
No, God! No, God, please, no! No!
After having this happen again and again to him, he decided he would put all these objects, which were not the comets that he wanted, into a list. The first entry on that list became known as M1, and with that, the Messier Catalog was born. So what exactly is the Messier Catalog? Today, the catalog contains 110 objects. They're numbered, as you kind of guessed it, M1 all the way to M110. But here's the funny part. Messier didn't realize how important these objects were. To him, they were distractions, things he didn't want to see. Remember, he was a comet hunter. He wanted to find comets. So things that weren't comets weren't up his alley. But in modern astronomy, this catalog is huge. It has some of the coolest objects in the night sky, and it's diverse. There's multiple different kind of objects in here. We have galaxies, nebulae, star clusters, which, oh God, I love the star clusters in here. I always kind of imagine as the cosmic greatest hits list, where if you're trying to find the coolest thing in the night sky, you go check the Messier Catalog because all the greatest are in there. And so I think what we should do is start with M1. This might be the coolest one in my opinion, not because it was the first one he threw in there, but because there's so much more to it. What happened here was a supernova, which if you don't know what a supernova is, it's when a very massive star is at the end of its life and it explodes. And that's what happened here. The explosion was so bright, if it was daytime back in 1054 when this occurred, it would look like a star in the daytime sky. And this lasted for a couple weeks. Back then we had records of something going on here, where there's a new daytime star, and now with the technology that we have, we can look at the exact location where astronomers said this new star appeared and see the remnant, the Crab Nebula. Not only is the Crab Nebula cool, but I also think galaxies are pretty cool. And do you know the number one coolest galaxy there ever is? Well, it's actually the Milky Way because we live in it. But no, number 2 is actually Andromeda Galaxy. It's exceptional. It's located about 2.5 million light years away. And eventually, there's a chance that it might collide with our galaxy. This is M42, the Orion Nebula. This enormous cloud of gas and dust is a stellar nursery. New stars are actively forming inside of it. When astronomers study regions like Orion Nebula, they're essentially watching the processes which created our own sun billions of years ago. This is one of the closest star-forming regions to Earth. At this point, you might be wondering, okay, cool, these are awesome, but why does this matter? We know of millions of galaxies, billions potentially, so why do astronomers still care about these 110 objects? The answer is accessibility. The Messier objects are bright. You see galaxies, star birth, star death, ancient star clusters, and the structures that stretch across unimaginable distances. This catalog offers kind of like a crash course into cosmic evolution. Charles Messier never intended to create a roadmap of the cosmos. He was simply trying to avoid confusion while searching for comets. Yet his catalog became something far greater, a gateway, a treasure map. a collection of celestial wonders that continue to inspire people centuries later. Every object on that list tells a story. So next time you look up into the night sky, remember, one of astronomy's greatest achievements came from a frustrated comet hunter trying not to waste his time. And in doing so, he accidentally gave humanity one of the greatest windows into the universe.